Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Story Station. This is a very special episode. As you can see, we are not at our usual domain. We are over on StreamYard officially. And our first guest on this new platform is none other than Darlene Cunningham. I'm sure you all have heard me talk about her on the TikTok. So I wanted you to meet the woman in person. Here she is. I will let her go ahead and introduce herself. How you doing? All that good stuff. So
Hey, everybody. I am Darlene Cunningham, a new author to the world, but I've always been writing since I was little. I love writing stories. I love telling stories. I like writing stories about characters who aren't typically the perfect characters. They're just regular, flawed human beings trying to figure it out. And they're loving, laughing, and living the way they want to, not according to anyone else's standards. So that's me.
look at you. Look at you. So you write beautifully flawed characters. That's what I
Yes.
get from this vibe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I've already read your first story. So before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into writing?
I've been writing poetry since I was little. I've always been an avid reader and I love reading. In my 20s, I attempted to write a story called A Hitman's Lover. It was on Amazon for a hot minute, but I never had the confidence or the support I needed in order to fully immerse myself in the craft. And so, after years and years, since my 20s, I'm 50, I'll be 51 Tuesday. I've just gained the confidence to start writing. I went back to college.
51 where?
Yes, honey. But yeah, so I went back to college at 37. I went back to college at 37. I majored in radio, TV, and film, minored in English. I met a lot of great English professors who helped cater my craft. And I finally got the courage after therapy and dealing with trauma to write my first book last year. And it released this year, February. So yeah.
Yay. Okay. So about that
Mhm.
first book is called So This Is College.
Yes.
Now, this story here, I I tried to summarize it, but I said, "You know what? She's coming on the cast. Let her do it." Oh, there it is. You got the book. Okay, great. So, for those of you who have not read this story, I'm going to let Darlene tell you exactly what it's about because I tried and I could not.
Okay. This story, upon first glance and upon first reading it, you'll think it's dark erotica. However, the reason I wrote this story is because a lot of us as human beings, we react to our trauma differently. Some of us overeat, some
Mhm,
of us have sex, some of us beat people up, some of us have anger issues. And so in this story, I wanted to show how these are regular human beings, but they're just dealing with
mhm.
their issues a little bit differently. And it's coming out as very toxic. And
Yeah.
it's toxic to us, but to them, it's like they're trying to work out or trying to heal themselves among this mess. So
Mhm,
honestly, when I wrote So This Is College, I was a little disappointed that people talked about the sex only because the sex was just a effect of what had happened to
mhm,
her growing up as a
mhm,
child. She never had emotion growing up. And so
mhm.
she wanted to experience what it was like to feel. She wanted to
Yeah.
experience what it was like to be loved. But her only way she got touch and feeling was through sex. And
Mhm,
so Diane and like a lot of us, we're in our 30s and 40s and 50s and still haven't figured it out. So I
yeah.
wanted to show a character that wasn't preteen or young adult that was still struggling with life and
Mhm,
emotions. And that's what I wanted to bring out. Jared was just a flawed character because he had no mom. He felt
mhm,
unloved by his mother, and that's why he latched on to Diane so hard in the story because
mhm,
she was like the mother figure. She was like the perfect one for him. And of course,
mhm.
we all know Professor Resto's crazy. He had so
Listen, justice for Professor.
right. So if I had to sum this book up, it's
Mhm,
exactly what my motto is. They're beautifully flawed characters, and They're challenging the way they're living and loving. They're
mhm,
challenging figuring it out. They're not going the traditional route of therapy and all this other stuff. She's trying to figure it out through sex. She's trying to
Mhm.
figure it out by going to college and trying to pursue. She's trying to do the right thing, but making mistakes along the way. So if I had to sum it up, it's my motto: beautifully flawed characters just trying to figure out how to navigate this thing called life their own way.
Yeah, and that honestly, that's a pretty good summary. I think I had read the story and I was too like immersed in it to really give it that exact summary. But one of the things that I really liked about the story was her directness.
Yes.
Because a lot of women are not as direct. So
Yes.
even though she's navigating everything around her, she's still very confident and very direct in what she wants and what she's going to do and what she's willing to do.
Yes.
And that is clear from jump. So I gotta give you your flowers on that because I need more of that in storytelling. Just ASAP Rocky. I
And
need
even,
more of
yeah,
that.
even though her mom didn't show her any emotion, she learned that
Mhm.
from her mom because her mom
Yeah.
did what she wanted to do. Her mom provided her, but her mom chose to live her life on her
Mhm.
own terms.
Yeah.
Even though it hurt Diane, Diane
Mhm.
saw that as a role model. So that's where it came from. It came from her
Mhm.
mother.
She literally got it from her mama.
Exactly.
So your next story, this one is hot right now. Like everybody I've seen on TikTok and on Amazon is talking about this one. And the title alone, Black people don't ski. Like, okay, walk us through this one because I haven't read it yet, but I am very curious because I've read the blurb and I'm just like, okay, I can see this. So,
Black people don't ski. I was playing on stereotypes that we in the
Mhm,
Black community use. I am the kind of author that I want to write Black stories. I want to use what I call Black speak when I write my stories. So
mhm.
this is a story playing on stereotypes. We all know Black people can ski, but
Yeah.
that's the first thing we say, girl, Black people ain't skiing. Black people don't swim. Black people don't do this. Black people don't go to the opera. Black people don't go to plays. So I
Yeah.
was just playing on a lot of the negative stereotypes that we force upon ourselves in the community. Well, at least growing up when I was, because I'm a Gen Xer. So growing
Mhm.
up, we heard a lot of things. Even my son's dad, he always, when I wanted to go see Rent, he was like, Black people don't be going to no plays.
See,
He
why is
really
that? Because I love Rent. I am a Rent head forever. Like,
ever,
why not?
ever. I know. So I wanted to kind of play on the stereotypes that we force upon ourselves. Nobody forced these stereotypes on us. And it pigeonholes us. We never experience anything outside of the norm because we are our first form of defeat. So I wanted
Mhm.
to kind of play on that stereotype when I titled it Black People Don't Ski, because I knew it was catchy and I knew somebody in their life have heard somebody say Black people don't do something. We can do everything.
Yeah,
And
why is
so
that? When we
I
the
don't
ones that pretty much started everything as far as the
exactly,
US is concerned, why?
exactly. I don't know. But this is an insta love story between
Mhm,
Diane and Jared. Diane is a 30-year-old woman who's graduated from college, but Diane not trying to
mhm.
climb no corporate ladder.
Yeah,
Diane just want to make enough money so she can pay her bills and take a vacation once a year to a place she's never been and do something she's never done before.
mhm.
Jerome is what we would call a Black nerd. He's had the support of a family. He's middle class all his life. He never had to struggle for anything. He's a geek. And he's
Yeah,
a geek that wants love and isn't afraid to say, I want love. Isn't afraid to say, I didn't have sex. I was 16, 17 years old. I didn't want to be community peen. I want a relationship. He's not afraid to put his heart on his sleeve. And I
mhm.
wanted to show that men can be vulnerable because in the Black community, and a lot of books we read, and don't get me wrong, I like the toxic men in books I read, honey, because that's where I get my life. However, for me as a storyteller, I wanted to show the opposite of that. I wanted to show
Mhm.
that there are Black men out there who are able to express their emotion, who are able to be vulnerable, who are able to be good men and still be sexy to the woman and still be attractive and can still put it down in the bedroom. So that's what I wanted
Right.
to do with Jerome. He was going to therapy, he was doing his affirmations, but Jerome wasn't nothing to play with.
Yeah. Listen, blurbs need love too, okay?
Exactly, exactly. And that's the thing. Even the part in the book when he was talking about Terrence, Brandy's ex, he
Mhm.
even said he wasn't a fighter, but if
Yeah,
he had to defend his girl, he was going to do what he needed to do to defend her.
yeah. Okay, he was gonna listen, Imma go out there, I'm a nuck.
If I have to knock, I'm a nut.
Listen, are we knucking? What are we doing? You
Like,
know what? That is super sweet. And I am here for the non-toxic men in stories because like you said, I know that there's a genre, there's plenty of genres where you can find toxic men and everybody gets their life when they're reading them. But
yeah,
as someone who writes sweet romance, steamy romance, that's my alley. So
yeah,
I am very excited about this. Now, Black People Don't Ski. This is part of a series,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes. Let me touch
Mhm.
on Terrence real quick before going.
Oh, yeah,
Terrence,
please go ahead.
Terrence is the
Because I
villain in
like
the
the sound of
story.
Terrence.
Right. Terrence isn't toxic. Terrence is just a hurt man who's in love. She broke
Mhm,
up with him. So he
mhm.
comes across as a villain, but everybody has sympathy for him
Ah,
because they understand. So I put a
mhm,
toxic man in there, but it's not the
mhm.
typical toxicity.
Toxic, yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, yes,
But
this
I
is a
love that though. That's listen, because some of these dudes off rip, you know they villains and you know you shouldn't be messing with them. But listen, the kitty want what the kitty want, and people gonna
right.
go where it's at. So I like that he's not he's just hurt. Okay, I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, this is a part of a series. It's the Seasons Change series. And the
Mhm,
reason I named it Seasons Change is because Black People Don't Ski happens in winter. My next book, Vanta Black, which is scheduled to be released New Year's Eve, happens in the fall.
mhm,
Black People Don't Swim, which is Jerome's mom's story, comes out in the summer. And the last book, Climate Change, it comes out
mhm.
in the fall again, where so it's like summer, winter, spring, and fall.
Wha
And that's why I call it season.
how? Okay, we gotta get into your writing process because for you to already have scheduled, like, release dates on these, I
All
am
the books
blown
are written
away.
except one. The fourth book is the only book that's not finished. Yeah,
Okay, whoa.
I've been writing.
Ma'am,
I've been work. Mm.
I see. I see. So, what is your writing process like? Because it sounds like you've got, like, the dream team behind you and you just get to write. So,
It's just
please
me.
share with us.
It's just me. It's just me. Usually, this story honestly woke me up in the middle of the night.
Mhm,
The characters just started talking to me, and I was like, "Why I can't go to sleep?" And I actually documented it on TikTok. I document everything on TikTok because I want book talkers and I want authors to see it ain't as
mhm.
easy as we all think it is. It's a
Yeah.
process. So when these characters started talking to me, I
Mhm,
woke up, especially if I have my phone beside me, I'll use my memo pad. But I just
mhm,
start writing in stuff that the characters are telling me, like their name, what they look like, all this kind of stuff. And usually, if I get their name, their description, their personality type, the story
mhm.
starts writing itself. And then that's
Okay.
how I came up with the story.
Mhm.
And literally, I didn't want to write a series. I never wanted to write a series, but
Same.
the series just came to me.
Listen, yeah.
Yeah, and it was going to be 5 books because I wanted to
Mhm,
have a complete ending for everybody. But I said, you know what? That's too much.
mhm.
If I can't sum it up in 4, it doesn't need to be done because the seasons change, summer, winter, spring, and fall. If it can't happen during those
Yeah.
seasons, it's not going to
Mm.
happen.
And honestly, sometimes people come into your life for just a season,
Hmm.
and you don't necessarily get an ending.
Yep.
So that is very realistic to me. I
And that's
love that.
and that's the thing. The fourth book, I already have what I want the fourth book to look like because it's going to talk
Mhm,
about Terrence's love story, but it's
mhm,
also going to complete the other stories that are in the other series. None of the stories are on cliffhanger except for Diane and Jerome's, which you'll find
mhm,
out what the cliffhanger is in book 3.
mhm,
But it's not. It's going to be a happily ever after, but not
mhm.
the typical. Oh, we're all a family. Oh, this is perfectly happened.
Like, is it kinda like a blend between happy for now and happily ever after, or is it like this is our happy ever
It's an
after?
untraditional happily ever after. And I can't say anything else without giving away the story.
Without giving it I tried, y'all. I tried to get it. I
But
tried.
yeah, when you read the third book, your jaw's
Mhm,
gonna drop. And I know
mhm.
for a fact next summer, everybody's gonna be talking about Black People Don't Swim the ending because I threw in a loop.
I love a good loop, and I'm just like, is it a cliffhanger? Is it something at the last second you think it's going to certain? Oh,
Now,
see how you do us.
after we get
That's
off air,
me.
look, after we
Yeah.
get off air, I can give you the full tea, but I'm not giving you the full
Okay.
tea on air.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that because I want to know for reasons.
Hmm.
So now you have your TikTok shop. A
Yes,
lot of people are still new to that. So let them know how they can access your books because I know seasons change. And so This is College is now available on Amazon. But
yes,
where can they get their books directly from you? Because we support indie authors directly over here.
yes. Because
Just
Amazon
PSA.
only gives me $5 of my 15 on Amazon. And that's the main reason I started TikTok Shop. If you're an author, period, or if
Hmm.
you're someone who wants to make extra money and have a craft,
Hmm.
TikTok Shop is the best way to go. I also have my website, which is darlenecunningham.com. You can
Hmm.
click there also. You can find my books. I've also ordered some merchandise, some bookish merchandise in between because I'm
Hmm.
editing right now. So I can't really promote my shop like I want to.
Hmm.
So that's why I ordered some bookish merchandise in between. So I've got some coffee mugs, tote bags coming. But
We
my
gonna talk about that tote bag. You see where we're going with this. We have to talk. There is a tote bag that I saw on her TikTok, and I wanted like 20 of these. And you can show it over here.
it's here.
Um, so please let the people know what exactly is on this tote bag because I want to carry this around just to see people's reactions to it. Like,
Okay, this phrase came from my book Hockey Life that I just finished.
hmm
And I came up with this term tittygasm because in Hockey Life, he brings her to an orgasm by sucking on her titties.
hmm
And so the idea came to me, romance books give the best tittygasms.
listen, right there, just chef's kiss. Because I've heard of tat titties, but I never heard of tittygasms, and that is like my new favorite word. I'm telling you, that word is going to be on like Urban Dictionary within the next 2 years.
So yeah, yeah. So that's the more risque one, and I was a
Mhm.
little nervous to put it up on my TikTok shop because everybody's not going to want a bag that
Yeah,
has boobs on it.
but those that do, you know
Will,
them your readers, them your people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's some of the merchandise. I have some that's coming that's a little less risque. That's saying my
Mhm.
TPR is under control and things like that. But yeah, I have bookish merchandise coming out while my editor works on Vanta Black. She's working on it now, and I'm currently working on editing Hockey Life so I can send it to my editor. So
Wow.
yeah, but darlenecunningham.com or my TikTok shop is where you can find me.
Wow, there it is, folks. And if you guys want to be the first to read the rest of her series, please make sure to follow her on TikTok, Instagram. She's in all the spots. Just go follow and show your support because right here, the, I'm still I'm still trying to recover from So This Is College. Because So This Is College, I was not expecting that ending, and I'm not giving it away, but. It I should have been prepared, but I'm still here. I'm like justice for professor because
And
that
actually,
didn't have to
a
happen.
few of my fans went in so much because they wanted to know more about the professor. The professor is getting his own story. It's going to be called The Naughty Professor. Now, that I'm going to be working on towards the end of next year
Mhm.
because it takes time to kind of delve into someone like
Of
Professor Leslie.
course. Yeah, he is a very complex character.
Yeah, so
So you got to be sharp.
you'll be getting into the psyche, the mental aspects of him growing up and things that happen. So
Mhm.
he's coming soon.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again, Darlene, for joining me today on the Story Station. I am so glad we could finally meet.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled and I wish you nothing but success.
thank
So,
you so
yeah,
much.
thank you, and we would love to have you back. You have a standing invitation because you got a
Anytime.
lot of stories.
I
So we want to know more.
do.
So thank you again for joining me. I'm your host, Kay McCoy, and this has been the Story Station podcast. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.